And now, ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set. We are here. This is it. The time has come. I said the time has come. From the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring here in Nottingham, England, the fight starts now! Introducing first the challenger. He fights out of the red corner and wears the white, green, and orange. He scaled 8 stone, 13 pounds, 6 ounces. His professional record, a perfect one. 16 fights, 16 victories, 8 of them coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Belfast and representing all of Ireland tonight, this proud and popular pugilist, affectionately known as Mick, makes his first attempt at a world title. Here is the two-time Olympian, the former WBO Intercontinental Featherweight Champion, and the reigning WBA International Featherweight World Champion, Irish Michael Conlan! Conlan! And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He is the defending world champion. He wears the white with green and gold trim. He scaled at already 8 stone, 13 pounds, 8 ounces. His professional record, 25 victories, 2 defeats. He has 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he triumphantly returns to the Queen of the Midlands for his homecoming and maiden world title defense. Fighting out of Gedling, Nottingham, England, here is the former Midlands area featherweight champion, the former Commonwealth featherweight champion, the former British featherweight champion, and the reigning and defending WBA featherweight champion of the world, Lethal Leigh.
So referee Steve Gray calls both boxers together.
If I give instructions in the dressing room, you know what I expect. Listen and react. Touch gloves. Good luck, lads.
Well, the stare down was so intense, it was as though both boxers were trying to hypnotize one another. Michael Conlan has said it's his destiny to win a professional world title. In order to fulfill that tonight, he's got to take the title from Leigh Wood here on home turf in Nottingham. World Championship Boxing on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and we are underway. 12 3-minute rounds for the WBA Featherweight Championship of the World. The champion, Leigh Wood, operating out of an orthodox stance, white trunks trimmed with green. He's got decals all over those shorts as well, and there's a hint of gold. His opponent, his challenger, Michael Conlan, wearing luminous green trunks with the word Conlan in the Irish colours of green, white and orange on the waistband. It is Leigh Wood out of the orthodox stance, occupying centre ring. Michael Conlan skitting in a clockwise direction. Left hand down by his kneecap, short scored with an up jab from out of a crouch. He's on ring perimeter at the moment, backing up towards the strands. Hard right hand driven into the body was blocked, but the left hook that followed up upstairs from Leigh Wood did get Michael Conlan's attention. May have grazed him on its way through to the scoring area. Straight right hand from Leigh Wood out of the orthodox stance on top of the ring logo. Now Michael Conlan turns southpaw and scores with a good right jab to the body. Hard right hand dug in. A right hook scored by Leigh Wood. And both men in punching range. Conlan remaining as a southpaw boxer and a depth switch hitter, as is Leigh Wood. Referee Steve Gray just has to separate the two men approaching the midpoint of this opening round. Action is on the logo at centre ring. Good stabbing right jab scored to the body by Michael Conlan. Leigh Wood trying to back down the opponent's lead right hand with his lead left. Good right hand driven in out of the orthodox stance by Leigh Wood. A straight spearing shot straight into the abdomen. And there's another hard right hand once again landed by Wood. This time to the sternum. Michael Conlan with his right hand across his clavicle, protecting his body. Bull rush from Leigh Wood backs up Michael Conlan at the red corner just above our commentary position. And now the action back to centre ring after Steve Gray separated the two men. Minute to go in this opening round. And the pattern continues of Leigh Wood in centre ring. Hard left hand bolo shot attempted by Michael Conlan, but it was partially blocked by the right elbow of Leigh Wood. And then hitting, while referee Steve Gray is intervening, is Michael Conlan. He's back at long range once again. Left jab from Leigh Wood falls short. Whipping left hand of the straight variety. It was a left hand straight bolo shot from Conlan scored. Right hand attempted out of the orthodox stance with a lead shot from Leigh Wood, but it was short of the mark. The heads come together as Leigh Wood came forward with an advance. There's a reddening around the left eye of Leigh Wood, scoring left hand again to the body. The palm turned upwards from Michael Conlan. Both boxed in the space of centre ring. 20 seconds to go in what has been a very skillful opening round. There's another straight left hand to the body, and then he's turned into a left hook upstairs from Michael Conlan out of that southpaw stance. Leigh Wood keeping calm, tries a lead right hand, but it was short because of good foot movement from Michael Conlan, who just moved to his left, and then beautiful head movement in the pocket, causing the attempted right hook of the champion to go over his head, and a thunderbolt of a left hook out of the southpaw stance from Michael Conlan and deposited Leigh Wood flat on his back. He's beaten the count, but his legs are unsteady. The bell has sounded. The bell cannot save him, and referee Steve Gray guides Leigh Wood back to his blue corner. He has survived the opening round, but only just a peach of a long looping left hook out of the southpaw stance deposited the champion on the canvas, and when he got back to his feet, his legs were incredibly unsteady, Steve Burns.
And for the last 6 weeks, that's exactly what Michael Conlan has been saying. That's what he's been whispering. That's what he's been, just when he pulls you to the side, he said, no one thinks I can hurt him. Are they crazy? That's what he was saying, Sky. Not only did he hurt him, I've got to tell you, if we'd have had another 20 seconds, this fight might be over.
I've never said saved by the bell more than I could have said it just now.
My gosh, absolutely. That was the ultimate saved by the bell. He may not be there, Ronald. He may not be there.
So into the second round then, Leigh Wood, after being decked heavily right on the belt of the opening round, comes back out. His maiden defense of his title. A life-changing purse that he's fighting for here tonight. But Michael Conlan with a terrific conclusion to the round, and now Leigh Wood, he doesn't appear right, and he's being ragdolled all over the ring, and while referee Steve Gray intervened, an arcing right hand from Michael Conlan dipped the knee of Leigh Wood. He's still on unsteady legs. His legs have not yet returned beneath him. His senses have not yet cleared. Big swing and a miss with a ponderous swing from Leigh Wood, and another left hand crashes home, and now Michael Conlan on the attack. Michael Conlan looking to take out Leigh Wood here in the second round. All of Leigh Wood's survival instincts being put to the test here. 50 seconds gone in the second round, and Michael Conlan hitting and holding. We've got a cut to the left eye of Michael Conlan after the heads came together on the inside. Incident-filled second round as Leigh Wood trying to tuck up at centre ring and avoid and repel these shots that are coming in, but Leigh Wood appears to be out on his feet. Michael Conlan looking to keep his composure. Whistling left hook grazes the hairline of Leigh Wood from Michael Conlan. Referee Steve Gray intervenes and tells both boxers to watch their heads. Michael Conlan still operating as a southpaw boxer. The blood streaking down the left-hand side of his face after he was cut earlier on in this round after the heads came together. Halfway through the second round, big left hook swung and missed out of the southpaw stance by Michael Conlan. The action is at centre ring. Referee Steve Gray separates the two once again. On the resumption, Michael Conlan firing in a right hook, but Leigh Wood showing good survival instincts. A jolting right jab from Conlan stops Leigh Wood in his tracks, and then a right hook follow-up, and Leigh Wood is in desperate trouble as Michael Conlan looking to pour it on. Leigh Wood claims his man, putting his hands around the back of Michael Conlan beneath his armpits to prevent him from punching. Steve Gray separates the two, and now it's Leigh Wood coming forwards, applying pressure to Michael Conlan. and he tries a right hand, but he's off the mark, and there is inaccuracy bedeviling Leigh Wood's work right now, and that is because his coordination has not returned. 40 seconds to go in this second round. Leigh Wood looking to take it to the challenger. Action is just above the red corner. I can reach out and touch the boxes as Leigh Wood is put on the ropes as Michael Conlan cleverly turned the tables. Jolting right jab again off the back foot from Michael Conlan. Looping left from Conlan is off the mark, but the follow-up roundhouse right did score out of that southpaw stance. Michael Conlan cleverly changing the angle in front of his man, fires a left hand, but it was off the mark, and now Leigh Wood wills his way forwards. Double left jab, right hand success to the body, backing up Michael Conlan to the ropes at figure 8 on the clock face, if you consider that our position is at 5 o'clock on the clock face. Well, Leigh Wood has somehow survived the second round, and towards the end of it, he may have been boxing, but he did get on the front foot to look to pressure the challenger, Steve.
He did get on the front foot to push back, because that's what he knows, Leigh Wood. And when you're gone, the one thing you keep, the one thing you retain are your instincts. And his instincts told him, don't back down, go to him, hands high. And Wood did a fantastic last 20 seconds. I think that Michael Conlan got too involved there, Sky. Should have maybe calmed down just a little bit. He saw the blood, he saw the knockdown, he saw the victory. He could have calmed down.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit desperate trying to get that knockout in that round. You could see his dad actually saying, calm down from ringside.
Well, what we're told there is it was caused by a clash of heads. So that means 4 completed rounds, and we will go to the scorecards. 4 completed rounds, and we could go to the scorecards if the fight is stopped because of the cut.
So into the third round we go. Both boxers out to centre ring. Leigh Wood showing signs of recovery after being decked heavily on the bell, but then there's a southpaw left shot on an upward trajectory from Michael Conlan, who was moving counterclockwise, then changed direction to move in a clockwise fashion to his left. He's occupying the space of the ring very effectively, contracting and expanding it on his own terms, and here he turns Matador, just backing up, catapulting off the ropes and causing Leigh Wood to fall short, and then he pings him with a right jab from around his kneecap. Michael Conlan boxing very well indeed. Right jab, left cross to the body, and then another right jab as Leigh Wood dabs at his nose, which may have been damaged by these accurate lead rights coming from Michael Conlan, who's operating almost exclusively as a southpaw. Now it's Conlan, the challenger, feinting with his front foot, wound up with a left hand to the body, but was countered by a right cross over the top from Leigh Wood. But it's Michael Conlan with the action at centre ring, who is the busier fighter, the more dynamic fighter. Leigh Wood edging forwards, but he's beyond punching range. There was a brief tangle of the feet between the orthodox and southpaw boxer with a minute gone in this third round. Action is at the 12 o'clock position on the clock face. It's over at the far side of the ring as Michael Conlan was bulldozed into the ropes. Hard right hand driven into the body on another forward foray from Leigh Wood. And now the two boxers lock horns on the inside and test the strength of one another. Referee Steve Gray separates the two men. There appears to be a trace of blood from the nostril of Leigh Wood. He's dabbing at that. That may be making breathing more difficult. Michael Conlan feinting out of that southpaw stance, and a terrific double left hand. First body, then head. Palm turned upwards on both occasions, and the body shot seemed to double over Leigh Wood momentarily. He's got his boxing stance back beneath him now. Minute 10 seconds to go in this third round. Comes forward with a left jab, but I wonder to what extent Leigh Wood is still boxing in a fog after being dropped by that long looping left hook at the end of round number 1. He's edging forwards bravely, gamely, in composed fashion, it has to be said, but his movements don't look anywhere near as sharp as they did for the first 2 minutes, 58 seconds of that opening round, before he had the misfortune from his perspective of being put on the end of that long looping left hook. There Leigh Wood comes forward and scores with the right hand to the body. Then the two men exchange body shots from the backhand, and another right hook crashes home from Michael Conlan, unsteadying the legs of Leigh Wood, but now he's got his stance back beneath him and scores with a double right hand. Uppercut, then straight, and then a hard shot from Michael Conlan. Checks the chin of Leigh Wood once again before Leigh Wood tossed Michael Conlan to the canvas. And Leigh Wood, well, it's his grit and his determination that is keeping him in this contest here now, because he's been shaken up thoroughly, and I'm not sure he's recovered from the knockdown he suffered. But here he comes forward, and that causes his fans to increase their decibel level. Double jab, right hand success from Leigh Wood. Attempted right hand is off the mark because Michael Conlan backed up, and then on the bell, Leigh Wood going to work on Michael Conlan with a 3-shot combination when Conlan's back was to the ropes near the neutral corner on this near side of the ring. Sky Nicholson, your thoughts after that third round?
There's absolutely no question of the grit and toughness of Leigh Wood, but the pedigree, the amateur pedigree is just shining through in Michael Conlan.
When Conlan was finding himself trapped over here in the corner to our left and trapped in any corner, you could see his mind working. It's really amazing, this guy. You see it, he's thinking, move my foot here, I can set him up with this, I can connect with that. But somehow, I don't know how, Wood isn't avoiding them. They're just narrowly missing. And I'm just wondering if Leigh Wood cleared, if his head cleared in that round. He looked sharper at the end than he did at the start. Sharper at the end than he did at the start. And towards the end, I just saw a little bit of Conlan thinking, you know what? I came for 12 rounds. I thought it might be 1. Now it's going to be 12. That's the impression.
So into the fourth round we go. And to pick up on the point made by Steve Bunce, if a boxer gets hurt early on and the man who has inflicted the knockdown doesn't take him out of there, the boxer who has experienced the discomfort and being put on the floor can often become zombified, and no matter what the other boxer hits him with, he will remain there for the remainder of the contest. It's Michael Conlan with more success to the body once again. Leigh Wood swinging with a right hand, but it fell short. It was an attempted straight right to the body. Then he comes back with a jab, does Leigh Wood, that is altogether closer. Leigh Wood at centre ring. Michael Conlan with his back to the ropes, just past figure 12 on the clock face, if you consider our commentary positions at 5 o'clock. And with Michael Conlan bobbing and weaving on the ropes, Leigh Wood looking to get to work to the torso of the Irish boxer, shoveling in punches just above the belt line. And now Conlan looking to reciprocate, but his back is still on the ropes and the tension of the strands is being tested. Hard right hand fired in by Leigh Wood, but Conlan was able to rock back on the ropes to cause the shots to fall short. Conlan fighting off the ropes, looking for right hooks and left uppercuts. Referee Steve Gray separates the two after there was a clinch. Leigh Wood comes forward with an arcing right hand, attempted to the body, but it was blocked by the cross-arm defense of Michael Conlan. And Michael Conlan now inviting pressure on the ropes, something that I've seen him do so extensively throughout the course of his glittering amateur career and indeed his tenure in the pro ranks. Now he's back at centre ring as cries of Nottingham, Nottingham cascade down from every seat where a Leigh Wood fan is sitting. Leigh Wood just takes a hard right hand to the body from Michael Conlan. Action is approaching the 9 o'clock position on the clock face on the far side of the ring. Now he's edging towards the blue corner. Beautiful double right jab off the ropes from Michael Conlan. Then a right hook, single shot success. And Leigh Wood repelling these shots that are coming in his direction. They're keeping him occupied. And that was a terrific portion of the round for the challenger. Minute to go in this fourth round. Leigh Wood attempts a left hand as his feet momentarily turn southpaw. And Leigh Wood, well, he's still in there pitching, still in there swinging. But again, the crispness that we associate with his work, particularly during that terrific 2021, isn't there. And he tries a right uppercut on the inside, does Leigh Wood. That scored to the body, but the follow-up hook from the left flank was off the mark. Conlan backing up towards his red corner, just above our commentary position. Single scoring left to the body from Michael Conlan. Then a big swing and a miss with a left hook over the top part of the southpaw stance from the challenger. 25 seconds to go in this fourth round. Michael Conlan towards the neutral corner on this near side of the ring, trying to lure in Leigh Wood, who comes forward with a 4-shot fusillade. The right hand to the body was the opening shot that scored, but then the rest of his work was crowded out by the gloves and forearms of Michael Conlan. Referee Steve Gray intervenes on a 10-second clapper. The action is at centre ring. Good right hand to the body scored by Leigh Wood once again, but countered immediately. And the final exchange of the bell was a left hook to the body, right hook to the head from the challenger. Let's go over to the blue corner and listen into the instructions being given to the champion Leigh Wood from Ben Davison.
Back to the ropes. You're letting him bluff you in moments, okay? Do not let him bluff you. You're pushing him back there, then you're hesitating. Something in that moment, jab the space, jab the shoulder, boom, bang, he'll sit down, boom, boom, starting to sit into it. Good job getting underneath the left hand there.
Yeah, and that makes an awful lot of sense. What Ben Davison is saying there to Leigh Wood is when you get him back, don't look for a shot, just push a shot, put anything, hit him on the chest, hit him on the glove, hit him, just keep on hitting him and you'll find something. What he's doing is when he's pushing Michael back, he's standing and looking, he's let his hands go sky.
It was better work from Leigh Wood that round, but he's crowding himself too much with Conlan.
So to the fifth round we go then. Both boxers up off their stalls early, and another looping left hook, and again from Michael Conlan. The second one was blocked blocked by the right glove of Leigh Wood, but the first one landed on an unprotected chin. Leigh Wood comes back and tries a right hand to the body. Then he tries a right hand upstairs, but that was countered by a razor-sharp right jab from Michael Conlan. Now the boxers fall chest to chest on the inside. Both men intelligently keeping their heads out of harm's way. 30 seconds gone in this opening round, and Michael Conlan with terrific accuracy to open this fifth stanza. Leigh Wood standing on top of the logo, his back foot on top of the logo at centre ring. Michael Conlan flat-footed, crouching down. Good right hand scored by Leigh Wood. Michael Conlan goes in search of his payback. Double left hand to the body is a scoring combination from Michael Conlan. Then Leigh Wood applies a headlock, tucking the head of Michael Conlan beneath his left armpit, and the same move applied by the champion once again. And Leigh Wood, when he steps, it just appears to be a bit of a stag to his work. There he scores with a right hand, which came behind a left hook, which was short. Hard right hand driven into the body from Leigh Wood. And remember, the right hand is his pet punch, and he scored with a two-shot combination. Right hand, then left hand just above the belt line of the challenger. Looping left hand from Michael Conlan came on a roundhouse trajectory and wasn't too far away. Then a right hand counter from Leigh Wood, who is now getting to work with straights. Right cross, left jab, but then that's countered by another pinpoint accurate right jab from the kneecap from Michael Conlan. Michael Conlan turns the tables to put himself in centre ring, and Leigh Wood near the strands. Beautifully picked southpaw left, and then a roundhouse left. Both shots from the belt line, and Leigh Wood gamely bites down on his gum shield and tries to will his way forwards. There he lands with a feather-light three-shot combination, and now beginning to plant his feet is Leigh Wood and let both hands go in furious fashion with Michael Conlan on the ropes. And now the action is at centre ring. Both men digging in body shots to the torso of their opponent. Michael Conlan getting his hands free more effectively, and so having the better of this trench warfare at centre ring. Then Michael Conlan takes the heel of his glove and rubs it into the face of Leigh Wood. And now he resumes with the body attack once again. Terrific portion of the round during that torrid exchange for Michael Conlan. And again, it's Conlan who is the better boxer, the more accurate boxer. More accurate work to the body of the champion. There's a nick on the inside of the left optic of Leigh Wood, on the bridge of his nose into the left-hand side. Looping left slams into the sternum from the champion Michael Conlan. Leigh Wood standing flat-footed. The action is at centre ring. Leigh Wood scores with a left jab. Michael Conlan backing up towards the neutral corner on the far side of the ring. His backing now against the turnbuckle. Leigh Wood comes forwards, letting his hands go, but his punches appear to be rather ponderous in comparison to the sharp shooting successes being enjoyed by the challenger. End of the fifth round, a terrific round where both men went toe-to-toe and exchanged some torrid body shots. Let's see if we can head to the red corner and listen into the instructions from Adam Booth in the direction of the challenger.
Nice deep wind rep. Nice deep rep. Let the thinking go.
You gotta love that. You know what Adam's doing? He's gurning. He's mouthing the words so you can't hear them out here, but Leigh can see them. So he's actually talking to him silently, yeah. It's really smart. That's absolutely brilliant. So we're not picking up on it. And there was a couple of body shots there. There was one in particular right in front of us here, Sloan. I saw your body go because Leigh Wood's right leg came off the ground.
Those looping left shots from Conlan just look absolutely pitch perfect. On the button every time.
So into the sixth round we go, and on the bell, while it was still reverberating around the Motor Point Arena, Michael Conlan came out aggressively and scored with a shot that he's just landed, a straight left hand to the body, out of the southpaw stance, and then he brings it upstairs, the same shot that put Leigh Wood on his back, a long looping left hook out of the southpaw stance, catching Leigh Wood on an unprotected chin. It's been a terrific first 30 seconds of this sixth round for Michael Conlan, who feints with a right jab before turning in a hard left uppercut to the abdomen of the champion. And while Leigh Wood had success to the body, a counter right hook to the head was a beautifully picked shot from the challenger. But Leigh Wood coming forward, perhaps his best success of the entire contest, a left-right combination out of that orthodox stance. But on the resumption, after the referee Steve Gray intervened, Michael Conlan marches right back in and lands with a two-shot combination of his own. The action is at centre ring. Minute gone in this sixth round. And both men feinting, studying, sparring from just beyond punching range. Michael Conlan thought about firing a left hook but didn't fully commit to the shot. He takes in a big intake of breath after referee Steve Gray prides the two men apart. But now they're toe-to-toe once again, and once more it's the challenger, Michael Conlan, who's doing a terrific job freeing his hands and scoring with shots to the body. Leigh Wood comes back with a single body shot of his own, but then he's countered by a left hand to the body, right hook to the chin from Michael Conlan. He's getting the better of these trade-offs, the better of these exchanges in a contest that is becoming increasingly physical and attritional midway through this sixth round. Leigh Wood edging forward, but he takes another spearing left hand to the body that just caused him to bend over and hinge at the hip. Now he's got his stance back beneath him. Left jab is short, right uppercut was off the mark. Left hook success twice for Leigh Wood. First to the body, then to the head. Michael Conlan ties his man up. The action at the figure 7 on the clock face, just to the left of our commentary position. Now he's back at centre ring. Michael Conlan taking his shoulder and his elbow to fend off Leigh Wood, who is coming in search of his own success. He's fed another right jab from the belt line. Right hand lead was an eye-catching shot from Leigh Wood, but it was partially parried by the left glove of Michael Conlan over at the 9 o'clock position on the clock face. 40 seconds to go in this sixth round. The action is at centre ring. Michael Conlan evading a right cross that came from Leigh Wood. Counter right hand off the ropes at the 10 o'clock position on the clock face from Michael Conlan is a really effective shot, and then a terrific double right hand, left hand slammed into the body of Leigh Wood, and these body punches could really be sapping the energy of Leigh Wood, but gamely fights back like the champion he is with a right hand upstairs. But while he was in search of the right hand to the head, Michael Conlan was continuing to invest in body sapping punches just above the belt line of the champion. 10-second clapper has sounded, and there's the bell to conclude round number 6. Michael Conlan continuing to box magnificently and get the better of the trade-offs when they ensue, Steve Bunt.
He is getting the better of them, but Wood is still there. He's having his legs lifted by the body shots. He's having his head spun round by the head shots. He's bleeding from his nose and his mouth, and he's got that nick in his left eye. And yet he's still coming forward, Sky. That's 10,000 fans. That's one of the home advantages.
100%. Like I said a few rounds ago, there's no questioning his grit and toughness, and it is shining through in these rounds as we go on. I honestly didn't think Wood was going to get past round 3, and now he is well in this fight.
Let me ask you this, and I'll put you on the spot. Can Leigh Wood turn it round? Can he turn it round?
That's honestly the question I was just asking myself in that round, and honestly, anything can happen in boxing.
You should have thrown
Never
it at me.
say never.
Then I would have had to have answered it, you see. You messed up there.
6 rounds completed, a potential 6 rounds to go in this WBA World Title Featherweight bid, as Leigh Wood, in the first defense of his title, endured a calamitous start from his perspective. A competitive opening round was concluded by the challenger Michael Conlan landing a long looping left hook to deposit Leigh Wood flat on his back, and since then he has fought his way through the worst of the initial fog. But for my money, he's trailing in this contest, and trailing rather heavily. But his competitive spirit is to be admired as he marched across the ring and scored with a right hook, which was partially blocked by the glove of Michael Conlan, the left glove. But it still landed, but then Michael Conlan, after getting his boxing stance back beneath him, scores with a left hook of his own as he continues to operate exclusively out of the port-sided stance. Minute gone in this 7th round as Leigh Wood comes forward with a left jab, but picked off by a pinging right jab from Michael Conlan once again, who is using angles and the space of the boxing ring magnificently. He'll go towards the corner on his own terms, then he'll come back to the space of centre ring. Currently, he's at the 3 o'clock position on the clock face, just above the red corner to the right-hand side of the boxing ring. He's watching and waiting, feinting. Both men looking for backhands, and both of them went long. Michael Conlan's forearm ended up connecting with the face of Leigh Wood before referee Steve Gray got the two men beyond punching distance. Nice head movement in the pocket from Michael Conlan to bob and weave and make Leigh Wood miss with his attempted jab, and then with his back to the ropes at figure 7 on the clock face, Michael Conlan shoveling in 2 hard punches to the torso of the champion. Now the action is at centre ring, and it's Michael Conlan continuing to cut a dynamic figure, bobbing, weaving, shifting, feinting. Leigh Wood altogether less dynamic, but continuing to compete and press forwards. But he then walked onto a left hand to the body and a left hand to the chin from Michael Conlan. Leigh Wood demonstrating incredible resolve, terrific conditioning, big big swing and a miss with the backhand from Michael Conlan as he went looking for the finishing shot, but Leigh Wood was hip to it and caused it to go over his head. 45 seconds to go in this 7th round. The action is right on top of the logo. Steve Wood can reach out and touch both men, but he's allowing them to work away as Leigh Wood has success with a right hand to the body. Conlan with his back to the ropes, bobbing and weaving, and then out of that crouch position, getting the better of the exchanges. First and third boxing from Michael Conlan as the two men went down to the body. Now the decibel level has risen here because Leigh Wood tossed his man into the ropes just above our commentary position. And now the action has resumed. Good left hook landed by Leigh Wood as Michael Conlan continues to plant his feet, and then a right uppercut and right hook success from Leigh Wood. His most solid shots of the entire contest, and another right hand crashes home from the champion. But then the final word from Michael Conlan, a torrid exchange to conclude that 7th round, the best round of the entire contest for the champion Leigh Wood in those closing stages.
Leigh Wood did two things in that round. First of all, he convinced me that he's recovered from that first round knockdown because he got hit with a better shot, the same shot, and he didn't go down. And also, for the first time in the fight, I wrote it here, he actually moved out of the way, instead of blocking the shot, he moved away and missed it. And that exchange at the end, that was savage in that corner there, Sky. That was a savage exchange. Both of them hurt, both of them caught, I thought, at the end.
Yeah, right on that bell again. I almost thought we were going to see a bit of deja vu on that bell for Leigh Wood, but he took the shot and he took it well. And like you said, he's definitely recovered from that first round. He is in this fight.
He is in this fight. I mean, I know I posed that question a round ago, but he is in. Ronald, he's in this fight. Leigh Wood is now in this fight. He's trailing heavily, but he's in this fight.
So we go into the 8th round. Both boxers out to center ring. Both men have been cut. Leigh Wood is bleeding from the nose, but the corner have done a good job staunching that flow of the blood, as have the red corner, Russ Anbert, to ensure that Michael Conlan's cut hasn't opened up. Good right jab off the ropes from Michael Conlan, but then Leigh Wood, encouraged by his man standing stationary on the strand, and slams in a hard two-shot combination. Right hand, then left hand to the body. Leigh Wood has turned southpaw, so it's an all-four-sided battle here up in the boxing ring. The action is just above the red corner. Good right hand to the body, then right hand to the head from Michael Conlan. And all of a sudden, Leigh Wood looks an entirely different boxer. More dynamic, more focused, fresher, sharper, and he's edging forward out of that southpaw stance, looking to back Michael Conlan into his own red corner. Michael Conlan inviting pressure, employing the Philly shell, and he's tagged by a hard right hand during the course of a three-shot combination. Left, right, left from Leigh Wood. As Leigh Wood continuing to operate out of the southpaw stance. Right hook to the head was off the mark. His feet crossed as he came forward and missed with a left hand out of that southpaw stance. Referee Steve Gray checking the foreheads of both boxers after the heads came together once again. And now the two men standing toe-to-toe on top of the center ring logo, looking to free their hands and work away to the body. Referee Steve Gray has to pry the men apart once again. Now Leigh Wood back as an orthodox boxer. And Michael Conlan, is he just feeling the pace after the terrific opening 6 rounds, 7 rounds that he enjoyed? Because Leigh Wood appears refreshed, revitalized and refocused as he bids to retain his title here in front of his fervent fan base at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham. Counter left uppercut not too far away from Michael Conlan. And after he tried to land that shot, Michael Conlan's leg just dipped a little bit, but then there's a beautifully picked southpaw left and a left cross, right hook, and the two men trading furiously right on top of the logo at center ring. I was going to pose the question, is Michael Conlan feeling the pace? But then he lands a beautifully crisp combination, but then is Leigh Wood going to work and teeing off on Michael Conlan, who was trapped on the ropes near his own blue corner. On the resumption after the intervention of the ref, hard right hand slammed into the body by Leigh Wood. Furious exchanges with 40 seconds to go in this 8th round. Leigh Wood encouraged by the success that he's having. Michael Conlan, his punch picking remaining sharp, but are his feet just beginning to slow? He's retreated to the ropes once again. He's continuing to bob and weave and slip and slide at the 9 o'clock position on the clock face, and then he scores with a terrific right hand, catching the incoming Leigh Wood as he was looking to advance once again in the space of ring center. Good left hand slammed into the body by Michael Conlan. 10-second clapper sounds. Left cross scored from Michael Conlan. Right hand scored from Michael Conlan. And another left hand crashes home from the challenger. Torrid two-way action to conclude that 8th round. What a round. Absolutely magnificent contest in this battle for the WBA Featherweight Championship of the World.
Sky wrote a note to me and she nudged me halfway through that round. Same shot, and it is the same shot that Leigh Wood is getting caught by with Conlan.
Same shot every time. That looping left hand, the whole fight.
And I tell you what, until he got caught with that big shot, that was Leigh Wood's round. Then it hurts him again. Then he comes back. This is ebbing and flowing and fluctuating. I'm going to put it to you again. Can Leigh Wood turn this around? I know it's 2 rounds since I asked you.
Leigh Wood is convincing me that he could turn this around.
He's in a fight that had there been 20 more seconds in the first round, let's get this right, Sky. If there'd have been 20 more seconds in the first round,
that fight was over.
This fight would have been over.
Done.
What a fight we've got as we go into round 9. What a fight.
Well, the psychology and the body language from both boxers absolutely evident as both men sprung up off their stool and out of the southpaw stance. It is Michael Conlan who has scored terrifically with the southpaw right and then brings the left hook into play. But now Leigh Wood had his right glove up to his temple and so took a lot of the power off that shot that has been Michael Conlan's Sunday punch all contest long. Leigh Wood comes forward with a 2-shot salvo, but Michael Conlan, moving in clockwise fashion to his left, caused the attempted attack to fall short. Michael Conlan to figure 9 on the clock face. Now gets his space back to the ring, space of ring center. Turns the tables, and so now both men are in the space of center ring. Scoring right jab to the body from the challenger. Leigh Wood edging forwards, looking for that left jab, and then a beautiful, long, lancing left cross scored to the pit of Leigh Wood's stomach. And again, it doubled him over visibly at the hips, causing him to hinge. Michael Conlan, his legs back beneath him now. That's a terrific right jab, and again, stepping into it, snapping it up 3 times in quick succession. The lead southpaw right jab of Michael Conlan has jolted the forehead of Leigh Wood. Minute 10 gone in this 9th round. Leigh Wood deserves immense credit for his competitive spirit and his will and his resolve, but Michael Conlan has his sharpness back within him now as he scores with a long left cross to the body from what was seemingly beyond punching range. Moving in counterclockwise fashion, now he changes direction, moving to his left, and there's the same shot once again. He went downstairs with a southpaw left to the body, looped to southpaw left upstairs, and it glanced the nose of Leigh Wood. Leigh Wood continuing to press, but he's having precious little success through the midpoint of this 9th round compared to the way he came on strong in round 7 and 8. Now he looks to go through the gears and press, but Conlan intelligently ties him up over at 8 o'clock on the clock face to the left of our commentary position. Conlan retreating towards Leigh Wood's corner. Good right uppercut scored on the inside from the champion, but Conlan wraps his man up and walks him back to ring center. Referee Steve Gray has to prize both boxers apart, and it's Leigh Wood continuing to press, operating as an orthodox boxer. Michael Conlan comes forward with a right jab, but it was off the mark. But the counter right jab from Michael Conlan was exquisite after making the right hand to the body from Leigh Wood fall short. Lay back and then came back with a lead right jab. That was a scoring shot. Action is at center ring once again as the decibel level rises here from both sets of fans. And surely it is the boxer from Belfast whose fans will be happier. Right hand out of a crowd from Michael Conlan with a scoring shot, but then Leigh Wood comes back with a left jab success of his own. So on the 10-second clapper, Michael Conlan puts Leigh Wood in a headlock, tucking his head beneath his right armpit and preventing him from working away. Closing seconds. Oh, the bell sounds. Let's head over to the corner of the champion and listening to the instructions of Ben Davison.
Getting it with that overhand left. Got to be better. I've told you about 6 times in it. Downstairs. Next one's coming upstairs. Either off the first one or off the second one. You've got to be aware of it. Okay?
Great line there from Ben.
Positioning was better.
Great line there from Ben, Sky. Stop getting hit with an overhand left. It's the end of the 9th round. He should have said that at the start of the 2nd round. I tell you what we saw there from Michael Conlan. We saw every ounce of grade he's perfected and learned over the years because he moved and boxed in that round sensibly, Sky.
Conlan was just walking Leigh Wood onto that shot. He's found a home with that left hand right on the temple of Leigh Wood, and I just can't believe he keeps walking into the same shot.
I think that we might have to give Conlan a bit more credit. I think he moves his feet out of sight, so he comes in from the blind side. I think it might be a little bit more technical. I'm being kind to Leigh Wood. I'm being kind.
Going to the 10th round then, Michael Conlan beginning the round, up on his toes, just inching backwards before feinting. Stamping on that front foot, just trying to draw a counter. Leigh Wood looks altogether sharper to begin his 10th stanza. He came forward with a left jab, but it was off the mark as the fencing with the lead hand continues. Michael Conlan continuing to be operate out of the left-handed southpaw stance, leading with that right leg. Oh, their heads came together violently like a pair of billiard balls as both men feinted at the same time. Full-blooded feints, and the heads clashed on the inside. Thankfully, neither man appears to have sustained a cut. It's Leigh Wood continuing to press, but Michael Conlan contracting and expanding the boxing ring as he likes. His back is skitting the ropes, scoring with a right jab and then retreating to beyond punching range. Crude swing and a miss from the champion Leigh Wood. Comes forward with the right cross that was altogether more textbook, more accurate, but it fell short because of the good foot movement of Michael Conlan. Remember, Michael Conlan's feet slowed in round 8, but my goodness, he's got him back. He's got them back beneath him now. His back is on the ropes, and once again the looping southpaw left scores for Michael Conlan as he catapulted himself off the ropes at figure 12 on the clock face and found the range with that left hand once again. Good left jab from Leigh Wood is countered, and right on cue, the looping southpaw left of Michael Conlan crashes on the unprotected chin of Leigh Wood once again. Leigh Wood comes forward and scores with a right hand to the body. At figure 7 on the clock face, referee Steve Gray gets the men back to centre ring as they both dig in. Hard left hands to the body. And again, it's first and third boxing from Leigh Wood. He started the argument. Leigh Wood had, from Michael Conlan. Michael Conlan started the argument, and he's getting the better of these exchanges. But what a furious fight back from Leigh Wood. Firing his hands from both flanks. His accuracy wasn't necessarily there, but a terrific portion of the round during that exchange from Michael Conlan. Minute to go. Counter right jab off the ropes from Michael Conlan, but Leigh Wood, irrepressible, pouring forwards and slamming body shots in from both the left and the right flanks. Some of them partially deflected by the elbows of Michael Conlan, but a good portion of the round for the champion with Michael Conlan on the ropes at around figure 7 on the clock face. Solid right hand and then a left jab from Leigh Wood. A reverse 1-2 dipped the knees of Michael Conlan as he was looking to bob and weave, and then another right hand success for Leigh Wood as Michael Conlan bobbing and weaving, but he's catching an awful lot of these shots with his back to the ropes at figure 9 on the clock face. He finally gets himself off the ropes and intelligently claims his man as he latches on like a limpet, refusing to let the champion go. And that has caused referee Steve Gray to call time and speak to the challenger in no uncertain terms about him not heeding the command of break. Time in called, 10-second clapper sounds. Leigh Wood with a terrific portion of the round in the final 30 seconds. Michael Conlan breathing through an open mouth, up on his toes, skitting both left and right. And Leigh Wood with a terrific conclusion to round number 10. Michael Conlan touched up repeatedly, particularly by the vaunted right hand of Leigh Wood, Steve Bunt.
Some of the stuff that Conlan was doing on the ropes was brilliant. It was sublime. He was blocking shots. He was moving away from shots. The problem was, as Sky has sent me a little message here, Wood is relentless, and he is. So you can block, you can duck from 25 punches, but he throws 50, Sky. That was a staggering last 2 minutes from Wood.
What he has been through in this fight to show the relentlessness that he has shown in these last few rounds is absolutely gobsmacking.
And just to say, in that first round when he was dropped right on the bell, for the next 2 or 3 rounds, he had no idea, and I'll tell you this now, he will never remember those rounds. He'll have to be reminded. This has been unbelievable here tonight, and I'm convinced the crowd is playing their part.
Leigh Wood could turn this around.
Oh, stop it.
So into the championship rounds we go. Michael Conlan competing in just his 3rd scheduled 12-rounder tonight. As for Leigh Wood, it's his 6th scheduled 12-rounder. And remember, Leigh Wood has scored knockouts late, testimony to that he carries his power and his aggression and precision to late in the contest as well. He's pressing now, Michael Conlan skips his way out of the blue corner on the far side of the ring, back to the space of center ring, on the back foot and pecking and poking with a right jab. There he turned it beautifully into a hook, and once again the roundhouse southpaw left of Michael Conlan lands on Leigh Wood. Leigh Wood coming forward but was inaccurate with his own right cross. The boxers momentarily came together. They're just above our commentary position. Figure 5 on the clock face. Now Michael Conlan has skipped away to figure 4 on the clock face before getting out to the space of center ring, moving in a counterclockwise fashion. He's retreated to the neutral corner, and while his back was near the neutral corner on the far side of the ring, he scored with a terrific single right jab. On the resumption of center ring, he scored with a right jab once again, and then another southpaw left. And Leigh Wood, who has scored so many dramatic late stoppages, never more so than when he won the title by stopping Zhu Can with 17 seconds to go, although he was dominating in that contest, it has to be said, in July of 2021. For my money, he's going to need another late stoppage here, and he's going in pursuit of it, but the southpaw left of Michael Conlan scores once more from the space of center ring, as Leigh Wood continuing to press, looking to draw energy and inspiration and encouragement from the cries of Nottingham, Nottingham, reverberating around the Motor Point Arena. We're beyond the midpoint of round number 11. Michael Conlan backing up, causing Leigh Wood to fall short with his attempted 2-shot salvo. Good right left hand to the body dug in, heads coming together, but then a right uppercut on the inside from Leigh Wood. Checks the chin of Michael Conlan. Conlan keeping concentrated and composed. Scores to the body, and then Michael Conlan with some rough stuff, putting the forearm beneath the chin of the champion before referee Steve Gray intervenes. That's a beautiful bolo left hand to the body, and then terrific work with a left uppercut from Michael Conlan. This is a terrific portion of the round for the challenger, shoveling in body shots and ripping in uppercuts, and Michael Conlan is touching up Leigh Wood. Left hooks crashing home from the challenger, but Leigh Wood bites down and fights back somehow after being tagged cleanly by 2 rock-solid left hooks from Michael Conlan. The action is at center ring. 20 seconds to go in this penultimate round, and Leigh Wood is showing a stout set of whiskers. This is absolutely incredible what he's been able to withstand tonight. 2-shot combination to the body from Michael Conlan, but then Leigh Wood pulls his way forward, and a slip has been ruled as a knockdown. So Michael Conlan, after slipping on the canvas, a right hand was involved, and Michael Conlan has suffered a knockdown, and Adam Booth is absolutely outraged. He is arguing and remonstrating with Steve Gray,
And what he's doing is he's pointing at the floor. The floor is soaking
the wet canvas
on top of the
where
logo.
Michael Conlan slipped after he was hit with a right hand.
He's pointing at the floor. It's slippery as anything. But in all fairness, Sky, they've been spraying Conlan every time he goes back. So they've made their own problem there. Was there a punch? Yes. It's the floor. Adam Booth is really not very happy. Not very happy, Sky. Sky, we are in for 180 seconds, crazy seconds here.
I think the referee did what he had to do in that moment. There was a clear scoring punch, and he went down. So you can't really fault the referee in this instance.
Absolutely. Even if you slip after you're being hit, it's still a knockdown.
So a sporting touch of gloves to begin the final round here at the Motor Point Arena. Dramatic scenes at the ends of round 1 and 11. The champion Leigh Wood was put on the floor at the end of the first round. Then Michael Conlan was tagged by a right hand and slipped to the canvas, but it was ruled as a knockdown by referee Steve Gray, and Leigh Wood is inspired by that. And now both men slamming punches into the midsection. Referee Steve Gray intervenes because Leigh Wood shoved Michael Conlan back towards the neutral corner on this near side of the ring. 30 seconds gone in this final round. For my money, it is still Michael Conlan who is in a commanding position on the scorecards, but Leigh Wood continuing to compete magnificently, and he is showing that his ascension to the world title was anything but an aberration. But in this, his first defense, he is coming up against a very skilled, competent, determined operator in the form of the challenger Michael Conlan, who scores with a right jab once again. Cacophonous atmosphere here at the Motor Point Arena. Leigh Wood turns southpaw, both men trading at center ring, but neither man accurate with their work. Plenty of misses during that attempted two-way trade-off. Leigh Wood comes back, backing up Michael Conlan to the ropes on the far side of the ring, and a knockout right hand from Leigh Wood. have sent Michael Conlan clean out of the ring, and this contest is over. Michael Conlan has been knocked out of the ring by a thunderbolt of a right cross from Leigh Wood, and Leigh Wood yet again has produced a miraculous late knockout victory, and Michael Conlan has been knocked out of the boxing ring and is being tended to on the far side by the medics in attendance here at the Motor Point Arena. So Leigh Wood is intelligently and in classy fashion asking for the fans to just hold down their celebrations. A spectator has just stormed the ring and has been removed in efficient fashion by the security guards on hand here. And so moments of concern here at the Motor Point Arena, and that is why Leigh Wood and his corner Ben Davison just asking the fans, who are ecstatic at the fact that he has won the title, he's just asking them to subdue their celebrations, because a right hand from Leigh Wood has knocked Michael Conlan in between the ropes and out of the boxing ring. The British Boxing Board of Control officials and medics are tending to the challenger. He left the boxing ring at around figure 1 on the clock face on the far side of the ring. And so, as ever, we just have to see that Michael Conlan is in good shape after that dramatic conclusion to the penultimate round. Steve Bunce is going to adopt the role of roving reporter. And so again, rather worrying moments here at the Motor Point Arena in Nottingham. Leigh Wood is standing over in his blue corner. Michael Conlan is being tended to over at the far side of the ring. Steve Bunce has left our commentary position and is at the radio with the radio mic. Steve, just bring us up to date with what you can see over on that far side of the ring.
Well, the medics are here, obviously, and Michael is in the middle of medics. There's a whole series of people here. They are preparing a stretcher, which he'll be loaded onto. He's on the floor at the moment. He's conscious, but he's fairly distressed, and that often happens when a man wakes up from being knocked down when he fell out of the ring. So it's quite worrying, quite disturbing scenes here. Carl Moretti from Top Rank is here. They're putting Michael onto a gurney now. His father John is here. His brother Jamie is here. Michael has an oxygen mask on his face, but that, I have to stress, is standard for anyone who is knocked out or stopped in a hard and grueling fight. It looks like he's going to be taken out on this gurney. It's not a problem. The security have done a fantastic job here. They completely have cleared an area. The crowd themselves have also behaved themselves, which is sometimes worrying when a fight ends like this. Conlan himself is there now. He still has his gloves on. He has the mask on. He's been strapped onto the gurney, and they'll start to move him out of here very, very shortly. They're lifting him up onto the gurney now. The security still here. He's been placed onto the stretcher. That's the people cheering because they've seen him being lifted onto the stretcher. He's going to be taken out of here now. In front of me, right in front of me. The area is clear. The doctors and the medics are attending to him. He does have a mask on, and he is strapped into a gurney, which is gruesome and as grim as it sounds, is standard practice when a man has been knocked out. His eyes are open. He's talking. He's mouthing words. People are getting down close to listen to what he's saying. His father John is standing on right next to him. So they're trying to find some scissors now to remove the gloves, because obviously you want to get rid of those. There's some fairly somber scenes here, scenes that We don't see that often in British boxing when a man has been taken from the ring and is being rushed. He's talking, he's looking up at the crowd, he's talking and he's looking up at the crowd, and he's gone now, from what I can see there, he's talking, he wants his gloves removed, he's dabbing at an eye with one of his hands. Fairly grim scenes, but I have to stress, he's not unconscious, he's not been sedated at ringside, and as grim and as brutal and as awful as it sounds, in many years of being behind ambulances, in walking out with fighters, I've seen fighters carried fully unconscious from ringside. He was not fully unconscious. He was conscious, he was responding, and he's been taken out on a gurney. And I've got to say, Ronald and Sky, the crowd have been impeccable. And that's down, I'm convinced, to Leigh Wood calming them down, telling them to calm down and relax. Fairly grim scene here, fairly grim ending to what was a truly memorable fight.
It was indeed a memorable encounter for the WBA Featherweight Championship of the World. Leigh Wood has retained his title in the most dramatic fashion after suffering a knockdown in the opening round. He was boxing in a fog for what appeared to be at least the first 4 rounds, but he willed his way back into the contest. Had his best round in round number 7 and then continued to pour on strong from that point in competitive action against Michael Conlan. Michael Conlan slipped on the canvas. The right hand was in the vicinity as well in round number 11. It was ruled a knockdown. Adam Booth was absolutely livid at that ruling from referee Steve Gray. And as the boxers came out to contest round number 12, well, again, it was Michael Conlan having success with his lead right hand. But Leigh Wood continued to show the relentless stalking that he has showed all contest long. And when he got his man against the ropes over on the far side of the ring, he detonated a right hand onto the chin of Michael Conlan, and he punched Michael Conlan between the ropes and out of the boxing ring. So he's been tended to by the medical staff and the doctors under the auspices of the British Boxing Board of Control. Leigh Wood momentarily left the boxing ring to share an embrace with a family member ringside. He's back in the ring now, his gloves have been removed. Eddie Hearn gives him an embrace over by the neutral corner on the far side of the ring. But again, the crowd who know their boxing in this part of the world did heed the pleas of Leigh Wood, and Barry Smith and Ben Davison just to hold down their celebrations. Let's get the official particulars from
let's
David
put our
Diamante.
hands together out here for what we've just witnessed. 2 warriors, an incredible display of courage. And right now, our thoughts, of course, are with Michael Conlan and his family. Referee Steve Gray calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 1 minute and 25 seconds of the 12th and final round. Your winner by TKO, and still the WBA Featherweight Champion of the World, Leigh Wood.
So Leigh Wood raising both arms, applauding the support that he's receiving here, but once again, what a champion, because during his moments of glory, he is just asking the crowd to be respectful, hold their celebrations down. Gilberto Mendoza, the president of the WBA, posing with Leigh Wood after putting that strap around his waist. So Leigh Wood continuing to pose for the photographers gathered at ringside on what has been an absolutely incredible night here at the Motor Point Arena, Steve. Leigh Wood, once again, that is now his last 5 wins have come by virtue of late stoppage.
Well, you know what, we made jokes after 6 and 7 rounds about whether or not Leigh Wood was still in this fight, but we weren't joking by about the end of the 10th, because Michael Conlan was starting to look very tired, and as Sky wrote 3 or 4 rounds ago, Leigh Wood is relentless. Let me ask you this, Sky, I know I did score up until the end. How did you think you had it going into the 12th round?
Honestly, I think I had Conlan a good 3 rounds up at least, maybe even more.
What about you, Ronald? Going into the 12th, how did you have it?
I had it 4 rounds to Michael Conlan after that knockdown, which I did score a 10-8 round in Leigh Wood's favours. I had it 101-105 with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think I had it about the same way. Because that 11th round could have been a 9-9 round the way things are doing, but I like to go with 10-8. Yeah, I had Conlan by about 4 points, but there was something about Leigh Wood when he came out for that 12th and final round. And you mentioned something to me, Sky. You whispered to me that John Conlan over there, the Irish coach, that you've obviously met at different tournaments around the world, including Olympics and World Championships, because he's obviously been there with his Irish women. And you said he was mouthing something to you at about the end of 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think he was asking me what the corner was saying. Yeah. Maybe.
Because I think that there was a point between Jamie, his son, was sitting next to him, and John. I think there was a point about that time, about the end of 9, maybe the end of 10, where they were thinking, he's in front, he's clear, but this could get turned around. Armed with the knowledge you just shared there, Ronald, we know that Leigh Wood isn't over with Leigh Wood until the last bell sounds. He can pull out something. 17 seconds, 1 minute 40 odd seconds there, whatever. He can pull it out. And I'm wondering if what he was actually saying to you and leaning over to try and get your attention was, how have you got it? How have you got it? How are you scoring it? Because I tell you what, there was a little bit of panic over there before. Imagine having your son, Ronald, dropped at your feet. You can't Rocky this. You can't Hollywood this stuff. He was dropped at your feet. In fact, they might have caught his head.
Yeah, it was a grim scene indeed up in the roped arena of the boxing ring.
Which way are you going? That way.
Leigh Wood punching Michael Conlan clean out of the ring. Leigh Wood with his WBA world title strap draped over his right shoulder. We hope to bring you reaction from the man who is still the WBA regular featherweight champion in just a few moments' time. But my goodness, in a pulsating atmosphere, 2 men drawing the absolute best out of one another during the course of that contest. Michael Conlan making a dream start, Steve Bunce, but the dogged determination and resilience and resolve of Leigh Wood just showing what is required to become and indeed remain a champion.
2 things happen, and Sky picked up on it. If ever I hear the word "Saved by the Bell" used again, I say you can't use that, because that was used for the last time at the end of the first round of the Conlan and Wood fight in Nottingham on the 12th of March 2022. That's when that expression was used for the final time. And then the other thing is, he had no idea where he was. I'm looking at Leigh Wood on the screen. I'm looking over here being interviewed. Sky, he had no idea where he was until at least, I'll look at my notes, about round 5. He had no idea.
I absolutely did not see this fight going past round 3 or 4.
And then even when it went past round 3 or 4, I thought then we'd see more of what Conlan did in a couple of rounds where he moved. But as you wrote, and as we said, and as Ronald mentioned, Leigh Wood is relentless. He's beyond relentless. There's something about him that just cannot be diminished.
Absolute sheer grit.
So Leigh Wood retains his WBA title, but my goodness, what did he have to go through in order to get there? Again, a life-changing opportunity for him here tonight. And he has delivered, coming through the fire, getting off the floor and continuing to believe and continuing to dig deep, keep his composure, when again, I'm not sure he knew where he was for the majority of the first 4 rounds, but somehow he weathered that early storm, kept on going, and found a way to get it done. A terrific turnaround, a dramatic turnaround that will enter the annals of fistic history here. And again, we just have to continue to keep our thoughts with Michael Conlan and his condition after losing the contest in such conclusive, violent and distressing fashion.
There's an awful lot of people on the far side of the ring who I know very well in the last 3 or 4 minutes since Michael was taken away have found my eye to give me massive thumbs up. They're giving me massive thumbs up, and one of them is very much part of the Conlan team, and the other 2 are neutral. So they're not giving me thumbs up because Leigh Wood's won. They're giving me thumbs up because they know something we don't. They know that he's in that ambulance. He's got the oxygen. He'll go off and have a test. He'll go to hospital. He'll be checked. He'll be kept overnight. He'll be exhausted. He's battered. He'll have a scan. He'll have a full MRI tonight. In fact, he's probably being prepared for that now. The hospital's very close to here. So they're giving me that thumbs up now. If the 2 or 3 people that have done that, I trust it. I trust their judgment. Let's hope that Michael Conlan walks away from Nottingham at some point tomorrow, because tonight he came within 2 minutes of walking away with the belt and also the winner of something, as you said there, Ronald, that we will not forget in a hurry.
So Sky, just put into words for us your overall impressions as we approach the conclusion of our broadcast, but your overall impressions at the conclusion of what was a torrid 2-way contest.
Well, you know what the saying goes, anything can happen in boxing. Anything is possible, and boy did they deliver on that tonight. I was honestly speechless at the end of that fight. For a solid 15 minutes, I reckon I didn't have words.
Yeah, anything can happen. And the rest of that sentence is, anything can happen when Leigh Wood is involved in a last round championship fight, especially if he's trailing and especially if he's in front of a 10,000 crowd, at least 6 or 7 of them, his adoring fans. And I've got to say again, Ronald, how brilliant the fans have been.
Yep, they were absolutely impeccable, the fans here in Nottingham. And Leigh Wood just asked for them to just hold down their applause. After he retained his title, they recognized his gesture and they did what he requested. So that concludes what has been an utterly incredible, scarcely believable night of boxing here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Leigh Wood, the man who has something of a Cinderella story, getting himself up off the floor against the undefeated challenger Michael Conlan, weathering the storm, keeping himself in contention, clinging on to the challenger's coattails, and then after sending the challenger to the canvas, finding the finish in the 12th round to score a TKO at 1 minute 25 of the final round here at the Motor Point Arena. So for Leigh Wood, what a journey it's been from Nottingham's small halls and leisure centres to a 10,000 capacity crowd here at the Motor Point Arena. He underlines his status as one of the best featherweights in the world, and now even bigger nights than this one, Beckham, at Nottingham Forest City Ground on the banks of the River Trent. For Steve Bunt, Sky Nicholson and the rest of the team here at ringside, well, we've just got a little bit more time than we anticipated, but what a night it has been. And again, Leigh Wood can now look forward to bigger things here in the featherweight division, because he has somehow turned this one around so that he remains as the WBA featherweight championship of the world. Michael Conlan sees his first bid for a world title come up short. And so that wraps up our action here on 5 Live.